Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Nate. So welcome to another series of our topic on word processing. So last week we learned how to launch the Microsoft Word. We also learned to insert a table, and this is exactly where we stopped in our last class. So I'll just take the class further. But before we continue, let me undo the table that we have here and reinsert the table. Oh, I can't undo. So let me just open a new document and then I can insert a new table. So don't forget, I told you that as we go further advance in this class, we will learn how to use all of the features of the menu. Now, so I want to insert a new document. So I could go to my file menu and then I'll find the menu new. I'll just click and then it will show me different templates and show me blank documents. I'm working with blank documents, so I'm going to select blank document. So this will open up. In the last class, I explained to you how you can zoom in and out to see your paper properly. We also learned how to use the layout menu. We learned about the merging, you can remember. Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Nate. So welcome to another series of our topic on word processing. So last week we learned how to launch the Microsoft Word. We also learned to insert a table, and this is exactly where we stopped in our last class. So I'll just take the class further. But before we continue, let me undo the table that we have here and reinsert the table. Oh, I can't undo. So let me just open a new document and then I can insert a new table. So don't forget, I told you that as we go further advance in this class, we will learn how to use all of the features of the menu. Now, so I want to insert a new document. So I could go to my file menu and then I'll find the menu new. I'll just click and then it will show me different templates and show me blank documents. I'm working with blank documents, so I'm going to select blank document. So this will open up. In the last class, I explained to you how you can zoom in and out to see your paper properly. We also learned how to use the layout menu. We learned about the margin, you can remember. I told you I prefer to always use narrow margin. And then we learned about orientation. I told you for this particular document, I prefer to use landscape because we are actually working on a timetable. We also looked at the paper size. I told you that the standard paper size is A4 paper. And then, so this is the A4 paper size. Mr. Sam, please, can you give me one A4 paper so that I can show the children what the A4 paper looks like? So I'm going to show you the physical A4 paper. So this is the physical A4 paper. Physical A4 paper. So I was telling you in the last class that when you fold the A4 paper into two, what I now have is A5. Okay? If I have double of this A4 paper, it becomes A3. Okay? So that is it. But I said that the standard document, paper we use for documents is A5. So this is A5. So let's go back to what we're doing. And then we have actually switched to A4 paper, and we're using, we're using landscape page orientation. So basically this is majorly the things we'll be using layouts for. Then as time goes on, we'll learn how to use column. But aside column, these are the major things we'll be using the layout menu for. So I can say that you have learned what the layout menu is basically used for. Now, so what we want to do right now is to insert a table just like we did in the last class. But before that, I typed the topic of my table and I said, let's create a timetable for grade 3 and grade 4. So I'll turn on my caps lock and then I'll say grade. I'll turn on my caps lock. Since this is going to be my title, I can just go straight away to increase my font size because I want it to be large. I can use 20. Then I can say grade 3 and 4 class time table. So that's my title. Then I can use the enter key to move to the next line. I can still press the enter key once more so that I have adequate spacing in between my write-up and my table. So the next thing is I want to insert a table. So let's now use the insert menu. So gradually we are going to be using each of these menu one after the other. I just want you to learn whatever menu we are using or whatever feature of the menu we are using as we advance in this class. So I want to insert a table right now, just like we did in our previous class. I'm going to click the drop down menu here. I can always do it automatically from here, but I prefer to always use this manual method. And in the last class, we insert a table of 12 column and then 7 rows. Now, okay. So why I inserted a column of 12 rows and 12 columns and 7 rows, I'm going to explain to you. So I did 7 rows because we usually come to school Mondays to Fridays. That's 5 days of the week. So I always like to leave one space in case I have any other thing I want to write. I can always delete that space later. So I can now come here to type. I can come here to type days. I can say days. Then I can say Monday. I can say Tuesday. I can say Wednesday. I can say Thursday. I can type Friday. So as I type, the cells in the table expands. Now, let me explain something to you. This is a table that consists of 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, 5 column, 6 column, 7 column, 8 column, 9 column, 10 column, 11 column, 12 column, and how many rows? Let's count. 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows, on and on. So you know the difference between the column and the rows. Good. So now I want to type the activities of the class. Now before I start typing the activity, now I don't want us to have too many documents. I don't want us to start typing so many things because of our time. So instead of having 10 subjects per day, I'm going to reduce it to like 5. So, but first thing I want to do is that I want to delete some rows, some columns, so that I would have little space. Now, for another thing I want to explain to you is that this is a table, but each of these things you can see here is called cell. So each of these is a cell. We have a lot of cell here, but when you put all the cells together, it becomes a table. I hope you understand that. Now, I want to delete, let's say, 2 columns so that I don't have so many information to type. So I can easily highlight. I taught you how to highlight it in the previous class. I can hold down my shift key and then highlight these 3 columns, and then I can delete these 3 columns from the table. So I'll right click and then I'll say delete column. So I have automatically deleted those columns. Now from this point here, I can expand my table. I will just click drag and drop. All of these things I am explaining to you, we can easily, watch this video over and over again and then see exactly what I did. Now, before I start typing, I want to do what I call merge cell. That point, I want to create opportunity for break time, places where I can write break time. So I'll do that while I'm doing it. You'll see what it means. Usually in your class timetable, there is usually a place where they join all the cell together to make one cell. That place they would now write break time. That's what I'm going to do right now. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you watch what I'm doing. I'm sure you understand it while you see. So please watch as I merge all the cells here. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. So I just want to merge the 4th column here. So I'll highlight everything here. I'll right click and then I'll click merge cell. Now you can see I have successfully merged this cell. I have successfully merged this cell. If you don't understand this, you can take this video back a bit and then see how I did it, but I'm going to do it again shortly. So all I just did was to put my cursor in the first cell of this column. I'll hold down my shift key, use my arrow key to highlight downward, and then I've completely highlighted the whole table, then the whole column. I'll right click and then I'll say merge cell. Another thing I want to do before I move to the next thing is what we call text direction. This will give me the opportunity to be able to direct my text to what area. So I'll right click again and then I'll go to text direction. I'll select text direction. This will give me the opportunity to be able to type in this. So you can always select the orientation for your text direction. You see this orientation, there's another orientation here. I'll click OK. Then I can type my break time. But this particular orientation is not really nice, so I can undo it and then I'll right click again. I'll say text direction and then I'll select this text orientation, this text direction. Then I can now type break time. So I think this is good. I can easily highlight this and then I will just change the font size. I can increase the font size so it can look better to 36 and then I can change to center alignment. Okay, so I have actually merged all of these cells. So we have break time, then I can start typing. Monday, I can say we have ICT. That's the first period. So before that, I can also use this for the time. I can say time here. I can say time here. And then in my time, I'll type 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So now, in order to make this look a bit beautiful, I can reduce the text to probably 16. Yes. Then I can type 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Don't forget, I told you in the other time that you can always finish typing before you format. So I'll just maintain that. I can say 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Okay? Then, so I'm supposed to actually create space for break time here. I didn't create that space. So I can still split this cell. Okay? I can split this cell. All I'll do is to, let me see how I can do this. So let's go to split cell. Let's see how possible this can be. I'll say divide into 2 columns. No. Let me say split cell again, and then I'll say split cell. So this time around, I'll change it to rows. I'm not splitting the column, I'm only splitting the rows into 2. Okay, I can split to 7 back. So I've splitted it back to 7. So this means that I will have to erase everything I have here and do it all over again. So you understand how to split cell, okay? So I actually merge cell initially. Now I have actually splitted the cell. So let me merge cell and split the cell back so you understand what we're saying. So I can say, I can right click and say merge cell, merge cell. Now I can still right click and split the same cell. Right click, can right click and split cell. So I can say split cell to 7 rows back. So I've splitted it to 7 rows. So, but I only want to merge this cell. So I right click and say, merge cell. Then I'll go back to do my text direction. I'll choose this. And then I'll type break time. Then after typing break time, I can always increase the font type. And then I can make a center alignment. And then I'll come back here. Then break time, I can say 11. So here, I can change the text direction back. Then here, I can also change the text direction back. Yes, please. Change the text direction. I'll change it back to normal. Then I'll say, let's change this font type to 20. So I'm having a bit of issue here changing font type or font size every now and then. That is because I didn't follow my own instruction that always finish typing before formatting your text. So you can see all of the challenges I am facing, but I can always tell you that it is better to finish typing before formatting. So for this particular segment, we have come to the end of this particular segment of this class. In our next class, we would continue from here. See you in the next class. So as you can see, we have done the major thing that is needed on this particular table. So the next thing will just be to type the time. So I'm going to type the time. So 11 to 12 is our break. We can say 12 to 1 is our 12 to 1 o'clock is another period. So I'm just going to type all of that. So at this point, because of time, I'll just fast forward all of these things. I'll just type everything so quickly. But I would like you to take your time and do the same thing for me. At some point, I would like you to also fill the subject for me. So that's going to be your activity actually. You will fill up the whole of the subject. But I'm going to do the subject for just Monday. Then you will use the same process to do the remaining days of the week. But before I do that, let me quickly type the timing. So I can say 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Then the next one, I can say 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Then I can say 3 o'clock. So I don't want to use 3 o'clock because usually school closes between 2:30 and 3. So I just want to delete this particular row. I can column. I'll just say delete. So I have all of this right now. Then I can always drag this. So now the next thing I can quickly do is to just change the size. I can just make it 16 so that it can be neat and they all can sit on the same. I can still reduce it further. Let me reduce this to 14. Okay, so 14 is a bit neater. Then for Monday, the first subject, I can say ICT. That's the first subject. Second subject, I can say maths. Third subject, I can say English. I can say music. I can say music. The next one, I can say literacy. The next one, I can say numeracy. Next one, I can say CRK. So this is basically it. So I want you to type the subject for the other cells for me, so that at the end of the day, you would also have your own parts that you'll be playing in this. Now, I think with this, we can say that we have learned how to create a proper table. So don't forget to do the remaining, part of this table for me. And at the end, I can say that you have all learned to create a standard table. With this particular skill, you can create any kind of table of your choice, because I've taught you how to delete a cell or a column. I've taught you how to delete a row. I've taught you how to merge cell. I've taught you how to split cell. I've taught you how to add text direction. I've taught you how to insert a table of any row or column. So I believe that this class is what you need to be able to create any kind of table. I believe you enjoyed this class, and I believe you've learned a lot in this class. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. See you in our next lesson. Bye for now.